They actually delivered on time and on budget because they forced them to work through the problem first. This is that value approach. This is why it's so better than saying, oh, we need these features. Because when we get the features, we don't know what problem those features we're trying to solve, even though they sound like the features that we might want or need.
On the concept of features played against values, what do you do if your product management, all they ever give you is features? How do you start that transition to have the product management really starting to talk about value?
Let's say that you have an incompetent product manager. Well, incompetent. They're not doing the job of really understanding the problem. They're just giving you the feature list and we want these features. So this is a point where I often say to teams, we need to stop the madness and do what I call backfill. Backfill basically says, you haven't told us what we need to understand to make sure we build this right. And so we're going to make our best guess of what the problem is. We're going to describe the problem best we can, and then we're going to shove it back in your face and say, this is the problem that we're solving. I hope this is the problem the customer has. You might want to check it out. If this isn't the problem that they have, they're not going to like our implementation.
What should that cycle time look like if you do that process? Should it be quick?
It should be pretty quick. We're not doing all the homework. We're not doing all the analysis. We're not going out and visiting sites. We're just taking our best guess based upon what we know about the customer, what we know about the product, and saying, okay, because we're going to be doing that anyhow. It's not like we're adding extra work. Every developer, when they write code, has to imagine a problem in their head. The example I love to talk about is if you go in the kitchen and you start preparing food, you don't look at your hands going, you're manipulating food. I have no idea what you're doing. The moment you walk into the kitchen, you think, I want a beer. I want a sandwich. I need to make a meal for myself and my spouse. There's something going on in your head that it has to. You can't just jump in and start preparing things and have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
You're going to guess at those things. And so we're guessing at them already. I'm just saying, let's be honest about that. Let's do it up front. Instead of each individual doing it on their own, let's do it as a team and then present that back and say, here you are. Here's what we think we're solving for. So at least as a team, we're aligned. Mm-hmm. And then they have a chance to go, yes, that's perfect. Because one of the things I've also found, I call it the lunch phenomenon. I might have told you this story before, Mark. But the lunch phenomenon is this, is if it's lunchtime and we're working, as we used to do in our Bellevue office, and say, hey, you want to go to lunch, Mark? You say, sure. And I say, where do you want to go? But he almost always say to me, I don't know. Where do you want to go? What have we learned? Nothing. What if I say, hey, you want to go to lunch? You say, sure. And I say, hey, you want to go to the Thai place down there? Either you'll say, sure, that sounds great. Or you say, oh, I was just there. But if you do tonight, you'll probably offer an alternative. You say, well, if I don't want to go there, but how about this place over here that serves buffalo wings or something? Then we can work it out. But here's the deal. The lunch phenomenon reminds me that people work far better from something than being asked for whole cloth.
That's a great point.
But if I put something in front of you and say, is this the right thing? You're gonna react to it more often than I say, what is it? You're like, ooh, I'm busy.
It's a harder pushback to say something completely different than something you're offered. I could just remember 4 or 5 of us standing in the lobby.